Well, we do have a great match coming up right here. One of the staples of the UK scene, Randy, versus someone who I have not had the chance to play. He's going by the username SHODAN in all caps, which scares the hell out of me already. But in reality, he goes by the name of vOddy, and he's a Grandmaster.
Indeed. So the first match of today we're going to be going into is, as you said, Randy versus vOddy. vOddy being a former Command & Conquer player, have met with him many times previously, and he is Grandmasters now in StarCraft 2, playing seriously for a couple of months now. Then we will be, that is the winner bracket semi-final 1. We then will go into the winner bracket semi-final number 2, which will be Stone, another well-known UK player, against Sunshine, a Belgian player who's flown over here to try and qualify for the Sunday Championship bracket. And then the other 4 players still remaining, CLN, Link CLN that is, will be playing against Gomez. And then the final 2 players remaining was Slice versus Zyvol. And that is the 8 remaining players of the BYOC bracket. Yeah, and of course they will potentially go on to face the invitees, of which there are 16. Oh, wow. Some mighty players in their own right. We do have Stefano here. We've got Thorzane, White Ra, Hazelwobs, and a wide variety of other players, including the land debut of Dignitas's new recruit, Dream. Indeed, and we have the IPL4 champion here, Stefano. We have Sase flying from Korea back home to play in here. There is a lot of good players being here tomorrow. But first we have to find out, because right now we determined the top 16 who will play in the championship bracket tomorrow. But now we are working out the seeds, which is what we're going into today, to really find out, who's going to have the easier end of tomorrow, because tomorrow it is going to get tough for these players. Who will be fed to Stefano in a ritual offering? We shall find out. And I believe if you end up with a low seed, that could end up happening for you. Indeed, it could be. Get fed to Stefano or Ryung, possibly Tails. That could be quite tough. And it looks like both these players are ready. The first map is going to be Antigua Shipyard. For you that at home do not know Randy or Shodan, aka vOddy, both are decent Zerg players. Randy has been around for a very long time, even going back into StarCraft 1. Has been a little bit inactive within StarCraft 2, unfortunately, due to school commitments and things like that, and moving and so on. On the other hand, vOddy used to be a pretty decent Command & Conquer player. Oh, in your personal estimation, Apollo, he was okay at Command & Conquer. He was okay. He was okay. Did he beat you? We played a lot. In ladder, sometimes he did. He did. But he is played casually within StarCraft 2 for a long time now, pretty much since the beta, I'm sure, but has only now taken it seriously within the last couple of months, has won 3 weekly cups now as well. So he is starting to get up there, and finally we'll actually be able to see him play on the big stage. And the first map is going to be Antigua Shipyard, a Zerg versus Zerg. Best of 3. This is still double elim, so even if they were to lose, they would go down to the lower half of the bracket. All right, well, let's see how this one goes here. A very creative Zerg player in Randy versus, obviously, a very dangerous mechanical player in terms of vOddy. ZVZ, a very volatile matchup, as we're well aware. And UK regional qualifier, Randy versus vOddy, and this is going to be for the qualification for IPL4, which will be in the early half of next year, and what a tournament that will be for sure. Yes, we can guarantee that one. And of course, this is the IPL3 version of this map, Antigua Shipyard, which is becoming a little bit more popular in the tournament scene. One of the only maps to really come from the Season 3 map pool that people can respect, and has resulted in some pretty good games lately. And this is the version still with the Gold Rocks. Within GSL, we have seen the Gold Rocks being taken out now, but this still does have the Gold Rocks. I'm unsure if it is cross-position only. I think the only version of the map to actually have that is MLG, as we can see. It is not cross-position. Yep, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen, for the first matchup of the day. It's my pleasure to bring you the one and only vOddy. He is in the blue trunks, playing Zerg to the south of Antigua Shipyard versus his opponent. To the west, it is Randy, who I believe is from Team Infused. Indeed, Team Infused, and vOddy actually plays for Team Enigma, which is not a team I'm not too familiar with. But vOddy I am familiar with, and he is a very talented individual. He's relatively young as well, because when I used to play him in Command & Conquer, I'm sure he was about 14 or 15, and that was a few years ago, so he must be 17, 18 by now. A really prime age to be playing StarCraft in. We'll have to see what he can deliver today, and in my personal opinion, I would not be surprised if vOddy came out with all fires blazing, because his personal style before, when I used to know him, was so aggressive. It was so macro based, and then all of a sudden he just hit this switch and he'd go all out. On the other hand, Randy, who can expect anything from this guy? This guy pulls out so many random tricks that people are not aware of.
Yeah, Randy's been known in the past for being a very cheesy player, and he was also kind of a race picker as well. He would decide to pick races, but in this tournament he did tell me before the start he was just going to stick with Zerg the entire time, regardless of the matchup, which is quite gutsy considering that he is going up against another Zerg player. And we can see the differentiation already in the build orders, as SHODAN going for this extractor first, and then following up with a spawning pool.
Yeah, really early extractor here, down on 13, and then a 14 spawning pool. So he is going to be going for super aggression really early. Probably going to be Banelings here. On the other hand, we have Randy gone for a 15 spawning pool, and he has not taken gas yet. I'm really confused if he is going to take a hatch. The best play for Randy to do now is to take gas very, very shortly, and then play a more defensive Roach style. Or he could go defensive Banelings as well, which is good, but on a large open natural area, defensive Banelings are tough to use because the Lings can run by so easily.
Yeah, they can, and this natural expansion is potentially vulnerable if he decides to take it to any kind of Baneling harass as well, and that's going to come down to who has the better micro. And as we've seen, vOddy is Grandmaster League player, which takes quite a lot of practice. He's obviously playing regularly. Randy, unfortunately, doesn't really have the time to do so. And while Randy may be the more creative player, I have to wonder if on a strictly mechanical level and a strictly micro level, that's going to work out for him.
And there is the Roach Warren going down for Randy. And as soon as vOddy smells what this is, it's very easy for him to take map control. He has Zerglings, he has Zergling speed on the way. He can now expand safely. And when Roaches come out, there's literally nothing Roaches can do unless you get to a critical mass of around 6 or more before they can start doing damage to you. So vOddy has now expanded. He has not gone back into gas yet, so we're not going to see Banelings out. We're not going to see a Roach Warren anytime soon. We're just going to see a lot of Zerglings. Depending on what he sees and when he scouts will determine, does he build more Lings or does he go into drones. And as soon as he sees that these Roaches are out, he'll want to drone heavily for a little bit and then start to build the Lings, because Lings at this level, you're going to be able to have so much more than the small quality units of Roaches.
Yeah, and the problem, of course, with Roaches is the speed. It's going to take, if he decides to go across the map, bearing in mind SHODAN has good map coverage already, as you can see. He's got an Overlord right outside the natural there. And hold that thought, because there's a little bit of harassment going on. There's actually already 2 queens out for Randy, which is an interesting decision, considering that he hasn't taken his expansion as of yet.
And we actually saw a Baneling nest go down for vOddy, and he was like, all right, let's do this. And then he saw the Roaches, and then cancelled it immediately.
Yep.
And he now knows that I've got a hatchery up. You haven't. All I have to do is defend against a push, which should come from Randy if he wants to do anything here. Otherwise, he's just naturally going to fall behind.
Yep.
So we already see some units being made. A second gas strangely being taken here from Randy and going up to layer so incredibly fast.
Yeah, that's really interesting from Randy, who perhaps might be taking some cues from the latest sort of ZVZ metagame, whereby Mutalisks are coming into play quite a lot more. And a one-base Muta play from Randy could be quite powerful here, considering SHODAN is, well, one, not expecting that. If he's going to end up droning heavily, not building the Evolution Chamber, and of course not building extra queens, then a Mutalisk play could do severe damage to him here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to have enough gas to go Mutalisk, though. The other option he could go for is for Roach speed, and then use Roaches, because with speed they're going to be able to micro a lot easier. The problem is he's thrown down 3 spine crawls already. It looks like Randy is literally playing super defensive against a Baneling form of play. And this is great to do, but at the same time, vOddy's not doing that. He needs to be droning a little bit harder. He's expecting some form of one-base timing attack, so the drone count is incredibly low for vOddy. It's at 19 compared to 25 of Randy, and but vOddy does have this expansion up, and he still sees no natural of Randy, but there is that Spire incredibly early. The gas is at 130 right now. He's only going to be able to build about 4 Mutalisks, maybe 5 by the time this comes out.
Yeah, that's the real problem with Muta. It's incredibly gas intensive, which is why you don't see a huge amount of one-base Muta play. It doesn't surprise me seeing it from Randy. If there was any player that was going to pull off something that crazy, it would be him. Randy is going to expand behind this, so I'd expect a little bit of Mutalisk pressure. And then if he feels like he can follow up by taking the other 2 gas on his natural and can hold this area and start to build that big flock, that big murder of Mutas, then he will be able to do significant damage to SHODAN SHODAN and force a particular response.
And he needs to SHODAN needs to get a second queen. He's been on one for a very long time, just kind of moving between bases, which is a little bit weird. He's actually building a second layer, which is incredibly weird. So I don't know if he's getting nervous. This is the first time he has performed at a LAN before, so you know, he's maybe thinking of all these weird scenarios in his head and not really thinking clear. And as you can see, he's built so many units expecting some attack, but there's 3 spine crawlers. He cannot do anything against this. He's got enough units to hold any form of pressure, but Mutalisks are on the way now, and we actually did see that layer get cancelled on the natural. So SHODAN making a few mistakes here, but he does have, well, he does have queens, but he has no anti-air, no evolution chamber, only a single queen, a second one in the making. These 3 Mutalisks could still do a lot of damage to the drone line.
I think the problem with vOddy right here is that he's treating Randy just like another ladder player. Randy is not. Randy is extremely unpredictable. He will use cheese when necessary, and he will employ unconventional tactics. And you might think, oh, well, 3 Mutalisks isn't going to do an awful lot, but that's a lot of potential harassment when you're going up against a player that only has 1 queen on the field.
And it looks like Randy has plans to tech switch. He's already getting +1 missile attacks. He's trying to throw vOddy into building a lot and overacting in a lot of anti-air. And all of a sudden he's going to get +1, and then he's going to switch back over to roaches. And Randy, oh, he loses a single Mutalisk. Does get a queen though, which slows down the production. The problem here for Randy is that vOddy also has a Spire on the way.
Yeah, and that means that he's going to have to respond to that at some point. And Randy would like to take that queen out. I very much doubt that he can. If he can, it'll be excellent micro. And it is looking like he's going to actually take that queen. Very, very close. And oh no, another queen pops out to save it. SHODAN fairly fortunate on that one. So vOddy must be pretty happy about it. If we have a look at the state of the economy, though, Randy has come back from that 1 base and is droned heavily behind that Mutalisk harassment.
Yeah, indeed, but I'm getting a little bit scared here for Randy, simply because the gas count's already at 630, 650. Mutalisks are going to be on the way here from SHODAN, and he's going to have that much that there's literally nothing that Randy can do unless he starts to add a Hydroden down to start to counter that. He has taken a really fast 3rd base, which is excellent. Against Mutalisk play, you need to be expanding as they are.
Yeah.
And the Mutalisk player has to be denying these 3rd bases. So the Mutalisks, when they come out, they should try to target down this hatchery to get rid of it, to prevent Randy getting a better economy than the player that has map control.
Yes, they should, and the question is, will he be able to do that? We are still not seeing any kind of real anti-air coming in from Randy, bearing in mind that he's going for Zerg missile attack level 1. Roach Hydra seems like a good composition right now, but he doesn't have it. He's going for roach speed, he's investing a lot of gas in that, and his gas count is certainly getting high enough to support a Hydra Den play, but he's not going for it. He's going for pure roach and looking perhaps to just go for a straight up bust before SHODAN is capable of really getting his harassment on.
Yeah, I mean, with roach speed finishing as well as +1, Randy can easily do that, just charge. The thing is, though, that he's going to lose a lot of damage. This 3rd hatchery is going to go down, no doubt about it. But Randy doesn't care. He's sending the roaches anyway. He is going to just charge. And now we have to see SHODAN bring everything back. He has to defend, because Mutalisks will not deal enough damage fast enough to kill these roaches. Yeah,
you're absolutely right about that. Randy, unfortunately, getting just a little bit of supply balls, using an extractor trait to get some more drones out, if you can actually believe that. Droning behind this, the Mutalisks are back there. The problem is Mutalisks do very little to roaches, and Randy's getting incredibly aggressive now. 1 queen down, 2nd queen down going as well, charging straight into the main mineral line. Wants to cripple the economy of SHODAN for a major follow-up right now. All of the queens annihilated. That means no lava injections of any sort for the time being. That mineral line force pack, he needs to focus fire on something. He's now going to just lose all of his roaches, having not taken out the spawning pool, and I have to wonder, was that worth it for taking out 3 queens, Apollo?
I'm not sure. It did buy him enough time to get the Hydras out, though, and the 3rd base was prevented. So actually, I don't think it's that bad for vOddy. He saved a lot of his drones, actually only losing 10. That could have been a lot worse. Did lose the queens, but he has a 3rd base of his own up and running. What he needs to do now, though, he has a decent amount of Mutalisks. He's at 16. He needs to go around the map, find holes in Randy's play, overload, taking and sniping gases as well, and he just has to keep Randy in his base for as long as possible till he can get these 3 queens back up, so he can get his production back up and running.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to end up getting intercepted by the Hydralisks there. It's a shame that there's no creep spread over there. That would have allowed the Hydras to follow up. The Hydras, of course, incredibly slow creep. Looks for an interception right now, but it comes down to vOddy's Mutalisk control here. There is a single Spore Crawler, which is going to cause a few problems there. And vOddy driven away by Randy for the moment. More Hydras to follow that one up. And what I'm worried about for vOddy right here is that there is an infestation pit and pathogen glands to follow that. So a good fungal growth would nail those Mutas down, and the Hydras would rip them to pieces.
Yeah, basically the hole he needs to go into is the main. The Roach Swarm, the Extractor, and Evolution Chamber are so open to harassment, and he's gonna come in here, and hopefully we'll see it. He can target down the Queen as well, which would be excellent to slow down the production of Randy. Great snipe there, and he just needs to hold on. He's trying to go up into Banelings. He wants to get its Baneling speed because Hydras are light. Banelings will rip through Hydras, but the problem vOddy's going to run into, or SHODAN should I say, is the fact that, as you mentioned, Infestors are now on the way. They will hold Banelings in place, and the Banelings will become useless. Oh, so be careful, he lost one Mutalisk for one Hydra there. Not a good trade-off, but 3 bases, 60 drones, has a great economy. He should even be building spine crawlers in that central area between the natural and third base.
Yeah, it looks like Randy wants to re-secure his third right here, which is unfortunate because he did reveal the Infestors and the count of the Infestors to his opponent, so he's going to be extremely careful about his engagements going forward. Randy is not going to push for the time being, wants to be defensive, takes his third once again. He knows he's behind economically, not by a huge amount though, I have to say, so he can catch up. He did do significant damage with his last push. If he's able to do damage here, then that will be absolutely fantastic for him. It will put him in the lead.
This push is so strong. Heads up, Randy's army wins. If he miscontrols, he will lose. The Mutalisks are so good. If he doesn't lose them all away, Moose will clean this army up so fast. And will we be able to see a good engagement here from vOddy? And what will Randy's control be like?
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? There's the fungal growth. Most of the Banelings at the back nailed down, but unfortunately a lot of bad detonations in the middle right here for Randy. As his Roach Count's looking good, the Hydras have got decimated right there, which means there's nothing that he could do about those Mutalisks. That was a really unfortunate engagement there for Randy.
Yeah, I mean, the Banelings got in there. They killed the Hydras down. If they didn't kill them, they lowered the health down. And Mutalisk easily came in to sweep that up. This is why Mutalisks are being played in Zerg vs. Zerg recently. You get map control, you get a third base, you can crush armies as well. And Randy, earlier on when he did this roast pressure, he did not do enough, as you pointed out.
Yeah, and that was kind of disastrous, honestly, for Randy there. His army's getting ripped to shreds. That was a massive investment. And now SHODAN is doing exactly what he should be doing, which is to increase the size of the Muta count, because he knows that his opponent does not have the necessary defenses in order to deal with that.
It's currently at 25, about to be 29, and this third base is never going to go up. There is going to be so much harassment here. He's got to be careful, though. There are a few Hydras here, but he has more than enough to actually engage here, and he knows it too. And vOddy should even be taking up fourth base right now. I mean, he's got complete map control. Look at all the money being spent on defensive. These Mutalisks are so cost effective right now.
Yeah, they really are. And Randy is trying to just get some decent fungals on there, do some damage, follow up with the limited number of Hydras that he has. But he would love to be mining from 6 gas right now in order to increase that Hydra count. It's not going to happen. And Randy knows he has to be careful with this engagement, because even though Hydras are fantastic
here, the Mutalisk spread
really
against
nice.
fungal growth is fantastic here. And that third base is going to go down.
Yes, it is. Some good control right here by vOddy, losing a few mutas here and there, but not major. Third base once again denied. Randy actually going for Hive Tech on 2 bases here, which is unconventional to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what he's trying to do up at Hive. I mean, there's nothing that Hive can give him to help against Mutalisks, and that money should have been invested in trying to get this third base up. So that is a questionable decision from Randy. On the other hand, vOddy is now expanding all over. Well, he should be expanding. He's moving links. I thought they were drones. He should be taking a 4th base up now. He could even take a 5th. And once you get all that gas coming in from a 4th or 5th base, there is nothing to stop you. You can literally build unlimited amount of Banelings, unlimited amount of Mutalisks, and there will be nothing that Randy can do. Only on 4 gases from his main and natural, and even the mineral line in his main is almost completed.
Yes, it is. It's not looking good for Randy at this point. His drone count has taken significant damage. He's not been building any really this entire game for a very long time. He's up to, well, down to 34 versus 63 right here for vOddy, who still is not actually taking a 4th, which is an interesting move, as you pointed out. This is, there we go, 4th now coming down for vOddy at the top of the map.
And what we are seeing here from vOddy is he's using his Overseer. We don't really see it that often. He's using the Contaminate spell onto the main layer, which did get cancelled from Hive 2 layer. And he's basically using it. And that slows down the production so much because the Queen cannot lava inject into it. So vOddy really playing well in this game.
Another relatively large force right here from rANDY moving out. The problem is that vOddy now has a significant supply lead. rANDY would need an exceptional engagement in order to make this work.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, look at the Mulus spread. Look at the Baling spread that's going to be. He can attack from so many different angles. He only has 3 Infestors. He only has about 5 fungal growths. And from all these different angles, vOddy's going to be able to just kill this army so easily.
Yeah, I'd be really, really concerned about what's about to happen. Baneling's crashing from all sides. That force is crushed in the course of 5 seconds. GG.
Wow, GG. Well played from SHODAN.